Calrissian. Follow me.
From Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately.
I'm Lando. Who's there? Han Solo on a mission with Rebel Soldier. What's your mission? We're fighting the Empire, and we need your help.
Han Solo, Rebel Soldier, Lando Calrissian, and Bespin Guard, each sold separately. From Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection. New from Kenner.
Star Wars, one of the biggest juggernaut franchises known in cinematic history. But what made it its massive success that it is today? Well, I can tell you by simply 2 words. The fans. If it wasn't for the care, the love, and the dedication that this fan base has shown over the course of decades, it wouldn't be the powerhouse that it is today. Just as the Force surrounds and binds us together, Star Wars does the exact same thing to us. It brings us together from all sorts of backgrounds, ethnicities, and ages. Many don't know, but every smile you cause inspires others.
Join us on this journey through the stars as we show our appreciation to all of you.
There is no other fandom than that of Star Wars. We've been through some tough times together, but we only get stronger.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
In times of crisis, we band together and we help one another. And we mourn together, rejoicing that they are now one with the Force, but missing them all the same.
We are so happy to be part of such a wonderful community.
We were actually inspired by you, all the fans, to create this platform. Those who put their life savings into making fan films of the very things that they love so much. People who use their talents to create beautiful fan art.
People who spend hours trying to make a cosplay perfect to wear for a few hours at a convention, or to bring joy and wonder to many young minds at children's hospitals.
Whether it's bad guys doing good, or being part of cinematic history, it's thanks to you truly being a force for change. As you can tell, Star Wars has played a significant role in all of our lives. It brings us joy. It brings us to tears. It brings us anger. And it brings us peace. And I am no exception. My Star Wars story started with my brother and I. We played the original Star Wars Battlefront 1 together on the PlayStation 2. And I couldn't put the controller down. And shortly thereafter, he went home. I asked my mother, what game is that? And she said, oh, it was just Star Wars. And that's where I fell in love with Star Wars. That's all I ever wanted. Everything Star Wars. My room, my bed, my toys, even the things I would draw were Star Wars.
My Star Wars story was like puzzle pieces falling into place early in my childhood. At a very young age, I had a Darth Vader toy, which I loved, but I didn't know the character until I went to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and I saw him, Darth Vader, on the big screen. Shortly after, my love for Star Wars officially kicked into high gear.
Maximum overdrive! Hi-ya!
After playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one, non-stop daily, as well as the original LEGO Star Wars games. I then watched all the movies, and I still remember each film blowing my mind with its special effects, its story, its characters, and action sequences. the one film that I love the most being Return of the Jedi. We were inspired by you, the community, to make this channel yours and feature you. We asked you to tell us your Star Wars story and send it to us through Star Wars fan page on Instagram. Here are some of your stories.
I love
Star Wars because I like how all the characters are introduced and portrayed throughout the series, and everything ties back to each other.
I like Star Wars because it personifies science and philosophy into the retelling of a story that has downright static character development, which inevitably puts a new perspective on good and evil.
The reason I love Star Wars is because when I was a kid, I saw it and I loved it, you know? Like, what kid wouldn't love, like, super cool laser swords and spaceships, right? But when I got older, I was just amazed at how much story there was behind everything. And at the same time, it taught you the moral battle between the light and the dark and the somewhere in between. And I think that it's just amazing. And that's why I love Star Wars.
So the reason that I love Star Wars so much is because it brings me back to my childhood, which gives me a sense of like security and nostalgia. And it all started when I saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters. I was about 5 years old, and from then on I had the biggest crush on Hayden Christensen, and I just fell in love with Darth Vader, and everything about Star Wars has just got me hooked.
I love Star Wars for its power to influence people, to inspire them, to spark imagination, and give us strength when we need it most.
It resurrected feels for me of what I love about Star Wars, which is the only reason why I do fan films, period. I try to resurrect the feels and not try to duplicate. In fact, even impressions and stuff, it's a celebration of what I find what I love in that character or whatever. And instead, I don't really like to necessarily just re-quote stuff a lot. I like to ride it. I like to go improv it out with, get that character and just have fun with it and recall what we loved.
Love Star Wars.
You know, many take to social media to create fan pages to share their love for this franchise with others from across the globe.
Many devote their skills to create droids to show off at conventions and to dedicate to their loved ones, and many forge their own sabers to ready themselves in a fight against the Jedi and the Sith.
The reason why we have decided to make this platform is simple. We wanted to connect the fan base more with the actors, prop makers, stuntmen, artists, voice actors, musicians, and even the famous cosplayers that you've seen here. Having the ability to ask them your questions, to see your fan submissions, and even show them your love for Star Wars. By video or whatever your heart desires, really. While, of course, showing literally every piece of art or prop would take a few hundred lifetimes, our plan of doing this is having a Fan of the Week. This gives us time to make the best presentation that we can, as well as listen to your fan recommendations for content. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as we did making it. I really hope that this video wasn't too monotone. So just bear with us as we learn and grow on this platform. If we are deserving of it, please give us a like and subscribe so you'll be kept up to date with any of the videos that we do put out. Thank you to those who helped us out. A huge shout out to those who submitted in their videos, as we will not forget that. Special shout out to Ray Kenix, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Jamie Costa, and may the force be with them always. on their journey in their careers. Thank you so much for watching.
One of the sofas, waiting for George. The door opened, and George walked in with Gary behind him. So naturally, what did I do? I'm raised in England. As soon as someone comes in through the door, I stand up. George goes, and virtually turned to Gary and said, I think we found him.
Yeah, I think Peter's outlook to that has always been to live your own life, you know, not be bothered and not think about too much what others are thinking, and he embraces it, and he has done so much good for Star Wars by being dedicated to his life to this franchise and these stories that we are indebted to him as much as anyone.